Alright, welcome back. We're discussing point shooting and flash sight picture. Now, over the years I've heard some people make comments such as, don't worry about the sights, you'll never use them in a gunfight anyway. And conversely, I've heard a few others say, you have got to always use your sights no matter what. Well, I'm here to tell you that neither of those statements are correct. And so the question I've always been asked by people that got confused in hearing these things is this: well, should I practice using my sights to shoot or not? Which one is it? Well, the simple, straightforward truth is this: you should practice shooting with your sights and without using your sights. But anytime you are able to use those sights, you absolutely should, because it greatly increases your chances of landing an accurate, effective hit. Now, of course, there certainly are times in which raising the pistol to eye level is not possible, or it may be unsafe to do so. You're not going to be able to use the sights if you're physically engaged with your attacker in contact, actual contact. And even at a few feet away, you don't want to risk having the attacker grab your pistol by raising it up or extending it out with your arms. You need time and distance for that. And this is partially why creating that distance is so important. So today our focus is on the two most common shooting methods in self-defense: point shooting without using the sights, and shooting with using the sights in what's known as the flash sight picture technique. Now, additionally, point shooting is most often done with using a one-hand grip. Not always, but most often a one-handed grip, whereas the flash sight picture shooting normally involves using a two-hand grip. Both techniques, however, point shooting and flash sight picture shooting, are performed with both eyes open. Both eyes open. That's critical. Now, one of the most important skills that we tend to neglect in our practice is shooting with only one hand. And that's typically done while point shooting. Point shooting with one hand is very common in the fluid and chaotic dynamics of self-defense situations. And so practicing it must not be ignored. You have to practice that. Okay, point shooting has also been referred to as instinctive shooting, intuitive shooting, and threat-focused shooting. Now, in general, point shooting does not involve using the sights. In general, the pistol is normally held with only one hand, though not in every case, but normally with one hand, and the pistol is held in close to the body, just below the nipple, inside the inside wrist and forearm up against the body. It's held in close and tight, as opposed to being extended out. And that's normally due to the close proximity of the attacker. This technique is commonly used when it is not possible to use the sights or to raise the gun up to sight level, to your eye level. Or it may be just simply too dangerous to bring it up to eye level. It is highly effective at distances anywhere from actual contact out to about 10 feet or so. And it can sometimes be done in a partially extended method if the distance allows it. In other words, it may not always have to be held very close into the body. It can be somewhat partially extended out to here. Usually not fully extended, but at least partially. Okay, now although it's not uncommon for the pistol to be fired in a more extended arm manner without using the sights should always be used if the pistol is at the shooter's eye level. If you're able to bring that pistol up to eye level, then you should go ahead and use the sights. Now, point shooting is accomplished by using your natural quality of hand-eye coordination, along with the vision control of both central and peripheral input to kind of guide the shot to the target. Continued practice of this can develop muscle memory, or a sort of subconscious hand-eye coordination that's accomplished through the use of proprioceptive reflex, which is basically the sense of self-movement and body position that comes from our mechanosensory neurons located in our muscles, our joints and tendons, which aid in proper and accurate shooting. Now, with enough practice, you can fire this way by instinct, hence the term instinctive shooting. Alright, flash sight picture shooting involves quickly bringing the pistol to eye level and using the sights, except you may not focus on the sights or even look directly at them. Instead, you'll only see an image of them flash onto your target. Now, naturally, you'll want to practice this with both eyes open, since we're talking about self-defense shooting, right? Now, this is not aimed shooting. Aimed shooting is closing one eye and taking aim. This is not what we're doing here. Now, flash sight picture shooting is a method used when you are safely able to bring the pistol up to eye level, usually at... Now, you may either focus on your front sight or the target when you do that, but most people in self-defense scenarios tend to focus on the threat instead of the sights. At any rate, the sights merely serve as a confirmation of sufficient target acquisition in this method. Now, beyond 25 feet, traditional aiming, or closing one eye, it may be more appropriate, since greater accuracy is needed to avoid errant shots. And it may even be possible to close an eye in that situation, since the attacker is at a substantial distance, so the threat is not quite as sudden or immediate. Now, as stated earlier, most people tend to focus on the attacker instead of the sights in a self-defense situation. And that's because our natural survival instinct in such an event is to keep our eyes on the threat. Now, that does not mean that you do not see your sights. Indeed, you can see your sights because they are in your line of vision. Now, you may not see them sharply, but you will see an image of them. And as soon as you see the picture of that front sight flash on your target, then you can deliver an effective hit. That's why it's called flash sight picture. That sight picture is only up for a flash before you pull the trigger. Now, we're not going to get perfect sight alignment. We're not going to get perfect target acquisition here. Remember, we're not trying for a precise shot in this moment. We're only trying for an effective shot, which is the best we can hope for in any self-defense shooting situation. Now, to learn more about shooting with both eyes open and the two focus methods, front sight focus versus threat focus, watch my video entitled Shoot with Both Eyes Open. It's not a choice. I've got a video on that explains all of that. Now, the whole point of using your sights to shoot is to increase your accuracy. By increasing our accuracy, we are increasing the probability of landing an effective shot on the attacker, while at the same time decreasing our chances of striking bystanders with a missed shot. Remember this, there will almost always be more people you don't need to shoot than people you do need to shoot. So use those sights whenever you can to be accurate. So go out and practice these two defensive shooting methods, because these are the two most common methods used in real life defensive shooting situations. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. I'm Antonius, and I'll be shooting it straight to you again real soon. Ciao, fellas.